Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you some of my lovely florals that I use with a palette knife. I do it on watercolor paper. I'm going to lift it up and show you. This is, I think it's 140 pound or 150 pound watercolor paper. It's pretty thick. I do it first and then I end up framing it. These are the colors that I use. They're very soft colors. Using Liquitex Basics. They're heavy, but they're more of a student grade. And I use two palette knives, a little smaller one. And this other one does have a number on it. I think it's a number 2. I use it more for my leaves. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay in the center of a couple of the flowers, and as you see how I'm holding the palette knife, I kind of hold it in a way that it looks like maybe I'm icing a cake, and I use the tip of it. There's so many different sizes you can use, but this is the 2 sizes I'm comfortable with making loose florals on a smaller scale. I have a light pink. I'm not mixing pretty much most of the colors, just straight out of the tube. This is a portrait pink, I believe. But I wanted a really true red for the centers. And as you see, I'm not careful about the colors mixing in together. I don't let them dry, excuse me. I lay it on and I pull the colors, the red into the pink. It's okay if it's smeared a little bit. And then I lay it down loosely. I'm not heavy-handed with this at all. I'm going down to the bottom and doing the second one. What I am going to do is, on the one on the left that's already made, I mixed a color. I took the portrait pink that I had and the yellow, which is like a chartreuse, I believe that's the color, but it's a yellow-green. And when you mix yellow and the pink together, you'll get a pretty peachy color. I'm laying a little bit of the white on top. I'm just skimming over it, and I do have quite a bit on it to make it. This is, I'm just an impression of flowers. I'm not being perfect on it. These are very loose florals that I'm making. I'm mixing some color up now. I'm lightening it up just a little bit with white and adding that chartreuse yellow or green in it, and it gives it a peachy, soft color. I think I'm going to go back over the second flower. I was thinking about doing yellow. That's why I think I have yellow on the palette also, but I decided to stay with the pinks on this one. But it's basically to show you the technique I use. See, I'm lightly laying over it. I'm not scraping down into it at all. And then I'll take my palette knife and I'll lay it down, and I'll, put an impression of petals laying down. And once again, I'm holding that palette knife with my pinky out and laying down highlights. Like we're frosting little highlights on top. I'll probably do exactly like I did on the other picture, do a third one. I'm going to turn my paper around, my watercolor paper, and do a center bud. You can spread those out and make them bigger, but I just have them small. Ran out of paint. And after this one's through, if you look at the picture at the beginning, I do let it dry for a couple days, and then I will use gel medium, and I will Mod Podge it or glue it onto either a board or a canvas, and then have it framed. Sometimes I just keep it in here for reference, but I wait till it dries, and then they frame up beautifully. So same thing. This is going to be a little fuller when I lay this down. I laid it down more flat, but see how I skip around, and I leave some of the back showing. A lot of times when I do backgrounds, like I said, I put a ground color on. I even do that with my watercolor paper, but this time I did not. And then I'm going to take this blue. I think it's called Ocean Green. It's a very soft blue. I'm just going to lay it down, spread it around. You can use your finger if you want to and just skip it around. But I'm just so I can fill in the color. And then when I do the leaves, I will take that other knife I have that's longer, and you'll see how I lay it down. See how I'm just kind of skimming over, not staying in one spot, jumping around. Then I'm kind of holding the knife on the side and pushing down and scraping so the petals will pop up. It's kind of the same thing that I do when I use my sharp knife to put black in, but it gives it a sharper petal. Just take it in turn. Keep grabbing paint. And I have quite a bit of paint on this. I move around from floral to floral, not staying in one spot. I keep wiping my palette knife off so I don't pick up some other color. Now I'm going to do the leaves. And I picked up the other palette knife. It's a long one. This is just the two I prefer. And sometimes I lay it flat down and sometimes I turn it on the pointy side. I'm just making some leaf shape. Pulling it down. I'll pick up green and then I'll pick up some of the chartreuse yellow. I don't know. I didn't look at the bottle. I don't have the bottle with me if it's chartreuse green or chartreuse yellow, but it has a more yellow in it. And so it gives it a highlight depth to it. These are fun to do, to put on wood, to put on palette pieces, and use various colors. Have the centers be, practice with different colors on these. And then I'm making some little petals on the top. I'm doing the exact same, little buds, excuse me, on the top. Make the centers first. Little dots. Clean off my palette knife. And pick up some of the, I'm doing more green. You can use the heavy body. When I paint on, and I'm practicing and trying to get more looser with a lot of times I will use my student grade instead of my golden paints. So I'm just laying it down around it and grabbing it. One important thing with this is to make sure your paint is wet. Don't go away and let it dry for an hour. You won't get the same look because it needs to pick up the paint underneath. And I'm going to go back and do highlight over it. It gives it a look of more petals, looser petals. And then I'm going to pick up some blue, and not a whole lot. Kind of wipe it off a little bit and just go around and make it soft around. I didn't go to the edges. I skipped around, laying it down. Like I said, you can use your fingers with this or a soft brush if you want to. I even picked up some of the pink and some of the white. And what I don't show on here when I'm all through is I go into my bathroom and I take the palette with a toothbrush and I wet the toothbrush and I make a puddle of softer white, of a looser white, and I splatter it. It gives it a very nice, soft, it pushes back the color. I'm picking up some of the chartreuse and highlighting throughout. And I'm not sure if there's any more. This is the finished piece. They look pretty similar. It's not as soft on the right because I think after this is off, I go back and put in some more blues in the center and highlight a little bit, and I'm actually doing it now. And then sign it on the bottom with a micron pen. That's what I use. once again, you got to make sure it's dry. So I usually wait a few minutes before I do sign my piece. I have made these on pallet wood a lot in different colors. They're very pretty and green. See how it's a little peachy on the left, one that I just did, that compared to the other? And I thank you for watching.